Yard. Beautiful Friday evening in Central Florida, Zone 10A. By the way, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, and then also give it a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos. Today, we're putting the chickens to bed, but we thought we'd give them some treats. Hot dogs, leftover hot dogs, and waffle fries. Hey, Jack. Here are some treats. You want to feed the chickens?
All of it?
Sure. They can eat it before they go to sleep. Those chickens love fries. Oh, the hot dog is their favorite. Here goes the hot dog.
Made a clash.
She took the whole hot dog. Yep. Ah, the joys of feeding a leftover hot dog to chickens. This is how the chickens get their exercise. They pay one jump per bite. Yep, you're watching a live stream where we're feeding a chicken a hot dog. Still have a lot of fries. Alright, I'm gonna get the ground perspective.
Oh, there goes Sally with the hot dog.
Oh, got the bun. Interesting. Is that all of it?
No, they're still fries.
Still more. Yeah, put a fry down by the where you can see. Yeah, they like those waffle fries. Hey, James Tropicals, good to see you. Chickens? That's exactly right. These are lucky chickens. They're getting last night's leftovers. I love this time of the night with the chickens. They're so like quiet and just relaxed. Ooh. Yeah.
Where the other one was.
You got the other chicken over there? All right, let's see. Oh, you dropped her. So thanks for joining the stream. Hello everybody, this is live chat, so feel free to leave a comment. Also, if you like this kind of stuff, give it a thumbs up. Why not? Thumbs up for the chickens. And Jack. And just in general, having a yard that is a fun place to be. Blondie. Wow, what was that? Gee whiz. Is that Sally?
Ponzi.
Ponzi. Do you think if we let the rabbits out, we'll be able to catch them?
Where?
You know, for a little exercise tonight?
In the yard?
No, in their run.
I think I already let them out earlier. Both of them.
Yeah. Do you want to let them out again?
Good.
Yeah. I've still got a bucket of bunny manure waiting to be distributed. I haven't used yet, and I think it's about ready to get another bucket full. Yeah, anything that you see growing in this backyard, if you put a heap and hand shovel full of that bunny manure around it and water it in, it will go off. It's a miracle fertilizer, without any doubt. Yeah, the golden sex links make excellent lab chickens. I'll get that right out there. If you're thinking about getting backyard chickens, golden sex links have been incredible. They produce amazing eggs. I think they're superior to the barred eggs. We had delicious eggs and bacon this morning. The farm fresh eggs straight out of the coop. I actually bought some of those like cord egg holders from Tractor Supply to be able to give regular egg gift recipients. To give them we have so many eggs that we produce that we've got kind of a little network of people that we give them to who love them. In addition, you know, we can't eat them all. I suppose you could store the energy somehow, let that permaculture. How do you store egg energy? What you got there?
Dirty fry.
Oh, hi. Yesterday's fry?
No.
Oh. So I've been putting out these short videos, you know. Nice. And one of them was, what is the sex of this papaya plant? That was the challenge.
Male.
Yeah, Jack just said it. I don't know if you could hear it. He knows.
Yes.
Oh, you guessed that it's male. It is male. It's certainly male, and the way I know that is the elongated stems on the flowers, also the multiple flowers. Although the female will have sometimes more than one flower, but not that many. Certainly not that many. The papaya has a male and a female. The only thing the male does is just give it more viable seeds. Otherwise, it'll still set seeds, but it won't be as many. Bringing a chicken out?
Yeah.
Who do you have there?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Yeah, we have a strange door system here to our coop. Well, to the outer coop. We have the inner coop, which is the structure you see. What do you have there?
Fell off again.
Oh no. But you know, they of course go up in this hen house in the evening, but how calm this bird is. And show the feathers there on the anywhere you can to show what it looks like on their under feathers.
Oh, under?
Yeah, look at that. See how it's like real soft and fluffy? The barred rocks don't have that.
They just have a lot of feathers.
They just have a lot of feathers, but they're not soft and fluffy like that on the inside. Like, these birds are really, you know.
So right here.
Oh yeah, look at that. Have this fine featheriness to them that makes them a lot of fun to hold. And they don't mind being held at all. I mean, they like being held. I'd say they like being held more than being put down. And the laying on your back thing, the recliner chicken action is, of course, pretty cool. What's that?
Got cut by the wire right there at the door.
The wire cut you?
Yeah, right there.
Uh-oh. Super cool. All right. So what's going on in the backyard? This is our favorite time of the day to be out here, of course. Simple reason is the temperatures are beautiful and there's almost always an east wind this time of night in the summer. So the temperature drops right down and there's plenty of shade back here also. It's already cooler back here than most other places. Get the cicadas singing in the breeze. It's a nice place to be. All right, let's take a look at the chop and drop. See how we're doing. We are committing in this bed to really piling up the chop and drop. This was an area right here under these bananas where I piled a fair amount of branches and so on and so forth. And within about 2 weeks, it's already starting to noticeably compress, which is what you want. You want to put enough weight of organic matter that it kind of accumulates. That'll help with the decay. Also, keeping it watered. We haven't had much rain here lately. Now, there can be rain all over the state of Florida and still not be rain here because I'm so close to the coast and we have this giant mass of water to the west of us and to the east of us. So we tend to get a little bit of a rain shelter. The Moringa, though, look at the Moringa. This thing has been a learning tree for me to understand what the best things are to do. And I realized you can plant more than one seed next to each other, no problem. These are two separate trees growing from two separate seeds, and I probably would have planted 3 or 4 of them if I had thought this through a little more, because I don't need them to be skyscraper high, and what I do need is the most amount of trunks possible. And so I think this multi-trunk, multi-seed approach to planting moringa is probably a great one. You know, if you see moringas which are specimens or planted as one tree, you know, they do get very leggy, they do get very branchy. Just like these two are already. You can see there's a lot of stick and not as much leaf. And what you want is the leaves. Now, leaves, what I'm going to be doing with the leaves is making tea here once I get them to a adequate level. But of course, it's not really at that point yet because it doesn't, at the time, in the ground. I'll hit it with some more bunny manure here soon. We'll be hoping for a good growth spurt in the near future. You can see the Cavendish banana trees are benefiting greatly from the permaculture practices and principles we're applying back here. Just lush growth. Nice green leaves. I mean, just showing all the signs of health and vigor. Quite quite honestly, and the chop and drop will only help that. In addition to the chop and drop, I've just been heaping bunny manure back in there, so I really have a positive prediction for this clump, my Cavendish banana clump. Now, the next variety of bananas, which I am very curious about, is the Grand Nan. It's another variety of Musa. I'm not exactly sure what type of Musa this one is. Oh, Ivory Tropicals. Cheers, mate. Beautiful growth. Thank you, Ivory Tropicals. I appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on the stream. Always good to see you. So we do have some mystery bananas, but there's no mystery what the banana does. The banana is going to produce a great, delicious, beautiful fruit. Uh-oh, dog barking. But look at that. There's the flower. That's just a giant, giant banana flower. That's what I want. I had to decimate my banana patch not that long ago in order to move it over here and put the chicken coop where it was. And it's just now starting to get back to a point where I feel good about the bananas in my yard. We had the achievement of almost one harvest of bananas a month, which was really amazing. I love that so much. And that's, I think, probably the preferable way to grow it is in a nice big clump. If you have limited space, you know, you got to really choose it because bananas get pretty big. Those Grand Nans get gigantic, and so does this one here. I almost wonder if that's a Grand Nan. Yeah, the banana tree is a rocket. It says Ivory Tropicals. You're right, man. They really are rocket ships. They shoot right up. If you give them what they need, and I'm going to claim what they need is, first of all, water. Second of all, sunlight. Third of all, nutrients. Like, they need what all plants need, but you can't do without water. The banana just requires water, and that's the one place where they're slightly incompatible with Florida. That to produce the good fruit, they really do need the water, so you need to water them, is the idea. You can target water them at the right times of the day and not waste water, but they do need the water. Get a rain barrel system. That's another good way to get water. Get some kind of catchment approach. You can see I'm even using these large-leafed cuttings, like the sea grape here, as chop and drop. And to be honest, I don't have enough chop and drop to cover everything I want to cover. But I have some very good candidates for the next chop recipients, and this Longan Tree here you see up to the left of these bananas is the next candidate. I'm going to probably trim this one up dramatically, and those branches I'll just toss back up into the beds. None of this will go into yard waste. And then the other thing is this corridor, this sun corridor, which I have in my yard, is not really looking like much of a sun corridor right now. It's starting to look more like a canopy, which is not what I want. I really need the, you see this, the sun wanting to come down through this crevice here. I've got to trim all that back so that this center area gets sunlight. I do want grass back here, and if I don't have that access of sun, I will not have grass. And of course, the grass is not just for aesthetics. We play on it, and we also let it grow wherever it wants to grow and feed it back to the animals. Check out this pigeon pea next to our archery mulch bag. This was actually one that I planted from a small pot, which I grew a pigeon pea seed in. Grown so many pigeon peas. I've just been trying to plant them everywhere in the yard and seeing where they'll take root and get started. And this is definitely one of those spots. I'll show you some others. If you look back here, see I've got pigeon peas growing along the back here as well. Now this little bed here was just sand 2 weeks ago. Now it's mango leaves. Soon it'll be all type of other leaves, like those longan leaves and whatever, but sooner or later it'll have a nice thick mat of organic matter. All this is already mulch. So these mango leaves make excellent mulch if you pile them up deep enough. Certainly one disadvantage is that they can blow away. Yeah, what's up, Jack?
I'm trapped.
What?
Help, I'm trapped.
You're trapped?
Yeah.
Can't get out that way. Need to make a door, second door.
Over here. I'm gonna put the support beam here.
I was actually thinking of backing the fence up a little bit so that we get a little bit more growing area.
Good.
Everything that we grow back in the chicken coop gets destroyed if it isn't like armor plated. We had a banana. Yeah, you saw the banana tree? See, on the ground here, there's like a banana tree laying on the ground. That's because one sprouted up. Got to be about 5 feet tall, and the chickens just attacked it and ate every bit of it, and they'll turn it right into soil.
And I go out like an hour and it's still standing up, and I go out like an hour later and it's gone.
It's gone,
It's
yeah.
down.
Those chickens love to eat banana tree. See that thing? You just lay it on the ground and they'll eat every last bit of it. It's still connected with that fiber. Yeah, see if you can pull it free. Bring it over here. See what a chicken can do. They turn it right. They eat everything but the fiber. That fiber. And that is still good chicken food. Interesting. You ever thought about burning your debris or putting charcoal back into your soil? I'm going to start doing that. Yes, I have actually, Ivory Tropical. So that's a great comment, man. I have biochar or whatever they call it. I have. For a few reasons, I've considered the biochar thing. One is to get yams growing. I saw a cool video where they cut yam. Well, I don't know if you call them potatoes, but they cut yams, and then in the places where they cut, they sealed it with ash, wood ash. All right, so I wanted to use it for that, for like sealing cuttings on sugarcane and on yams and whatever else. The ashes, but then as well, getting it back into the soil. I'll show you, by the way, this is why it's such a great comment. I was planning on using some of the oak, which I harvested from our oak tree in the front yard there. It's radically different than it looks. Let's see if I can. Yeah. You can see that thing is trimmed. They took about 9,000 pounds of weight out of that, and I've got the logs throughout the yard, but also some I plan on using for woodworking stuff, and some I plan on using for biochar. But yeah, absolutely. Now,
Started flowering.
it did, yeah. That's guinea corn. They call that. I think that might be from the chicken scratch. We feed these chicken scratch every morning.
I don't. It's like falling over if I don't hold
Yeah,
it.
I bopped it this morning when I was doing stuff out here. So, what do you think? Is it time to harvest it? I want to plant those seeds, but
What is it?
it's a guinea corn. It's like a feed crop. That's why I think it might have come from the
Chicken scratch.
chicken scratch, one of the seeds in the chicken scratch.
Probably.
But I would love to have it growing around everywhere. We
Free
bought
chicken scratch.
free chicken scratch. Grow your own chicken scratch. We already do. It's called Pigeon Peas. Yep, pigeon peas make great chicken scratch. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss the comments here. Okay, Ivory Tropical's cool. I've been reading about it, and it lasts for hundreds of years in your soil. Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's fascinating. Off topic, sorry, but when is the best time to propagate cactus cuttings? Any seasonal or thanks in advance? Okay, yeah, the boys. Thank you for commenting. Appreciate it. And yeah, we've grown a lot of cactus in this yard, and I'm gonna say the best time to plant just about anything is springtime. But when it comes to cactus, as long as they don't get exposed to cold temperatures and have enough water, I would say just about any time is okay in Florida. But spring is a great time. I just planted some cactus here along this fence. If you can see, this is dragon fruit, yellow dragon fruit cuttings. These are incredibly easy to propagate from cuttings. Any of the several varieties of dragon fruit are very easy to propagate. And I'll just give you a little tip here. You might already know, but share with you my If you take the cutting at woody node spot, you increase your odds of success tremendously. If you cut this cutting on the fleshy part of the cactus, now you've created an injury, which you would want to seal, again, with something like the wood, or let it callus over by drying. But I think the key is really not so much when you plant it, but how you care for it. Plant it, especially in Florida. Spring, though, would be my answer for best pick. There are several varieties of cactus I would recommend. I like cactuses that, cause the incredible injuries that I've been exposed to dealing with cactuses in my time. I don't like that experience of having a very long cactus spike break over deep inside your finger or that kind of thing. That just not fun. So cactuses I tend to grow have very minimal thorn action, and the two primary are the dragon fruit and the Nepalis pad cactus. Now the Nepalis pad cactus, it's one that was developed, it was bred over time to be a food crop. It's not actually crap, it's quite a delicious cactus, a pad cactus. It was grown as a food alternative for some of these places with poor soil and not that much water, but the problem is it grows prolific amounts of food. We'll go over and take a look at one of the Nepalis. It grows a lot of cactus pads that are quite good, actually, and only minimal thorns. However, it requires a tremendous amount of water, so it didn't really work out the way they thought. But oddly enough, Florida meets every one of the conditions. All right, let's look at the Nepalis. Well, we've got one back there, but I don't think I'm going to traverse the jungle with the gimbal in my hand. Let's look at the one we have over here. As you can see, the door has come fully off of the fence, and we have somebody coming in 2 days to give us some estimates for getting it fixed. Getting it not fixed, but replaced. These fence panels are gonzo. But this is the Nepalis pad cactus. Very common in Florida, very easy to get a cutting. I mean, they're just everywhere, and anybody who's been growing them for any amount of time doesn't mind giving you some cuttings. And this, to me, is one of my top picks for a food crop, like a survival crop in Florida. The thorns are very minimal. Now, they are irritating. It's something like a fiberglass. I mean, they do get in your skin, and it's itchy and it's irritating. So, you could scrape them off with a blunt end of a penknife or a butter knife, basically, if you needed to. The ones that you eat typically are not these fully mature ones. They're the ones that just sprout. So this one I'm growing more as an ornamental. The one on the side of my house, though, I have one that I grow to eat pads off of, and that one I trim differently, but they're very vigorous. And they'll grow from a cutting just about anywhere you stick them, and you can see these. I mean, you'll have as much Nepalis pad cactus as you want. I mean, that's what the bottom line is on these. You will just have as many as you can possibly deal with if you just start sticking them everywhere. But you can see this is a cactus party right here. We got more of that yellow dragon fruit and several varieties of aloe and a little bit of plumeria. This is kind of like the junk cuttings place where I just stuck stuff that I didn't know where to put it, and all of it has basically grown. So it's doing well. But yeah, I'm going to look back at those comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. But that's kind of my 2 cents tonight regarding the cactus. All right, let's look back at the comments. Okay, Ivory Tropical says, looks good, inspiring us as always. Later, man. All right, see you, Ivory Tropicals. Thanks for jumping on. The boys, awesome. Thanks, man. Lastly, what about the thornless pads? Should I cut off the bottom hanging branches and push the energy towards the top, or leave the low hanging branches? That's another great question. It really depends on what you're trying to get out of the cactus. If it's like the Nepalis that I had, if I wanted it to be a sort of edible material, I would trim it low and promote it growing like a shrub. However, and I do have one like that, but it actually got crowded out by all this stuff you see here. But there's one against the fence that I had been growing like that. But this one, I want to have it as a little tree form cactus, so I trim out all the bottom stuff and I promote it growing almost a bark. You know, if you look down on lower on this cactus, it's interesting how it looks like bark after you tree form these things for long enough. And I love to tree form stuff, so I'd say, like, you know, depends on your application. Growing food, make it like a shrub, make the maximum amount of branches and points where you can get edible stuff from it. You want to grow it like a tree, trim it up higher. So I do all manners of trimmings depending on what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, the boys say, I have a Peruvian cactus cutting growing like crazy. That's interesting. I don't know about the Peruvian cactus. I'll have to look that up. I'm making great success growing. Just don't know what the next step or how to tree form either kind of cactus like the one there. And it says, I have some barking already. Would love to tree form them. Yeah. Okay, so cactus are inherently brittle, right? So I would claim, especially when they're young. So I think the trick to tree forming them essentially is to keep up on removing anything that grows on the trunk down low where you don't want it, but then also not allowing enough weight on the top that it can snap. And I've had them snap on me quite tragically that way in heavy duty storms, but you know, I had 10 years of growth where they've been a tree formed cactus prior, so that's fine. And that seems to be the trade-off, is constantly managing the top weight of the tree formed cactus, because if you're trimming off all the bottom weight, they can just accumulate so much weight up top they're going to crack over every time. So that's my advice on tree forming them. I've had a good success with tree forming the Nepalis. They really like that, it seems like, but they'll just grow so vigorously that you got to just constantly keep up on it, which is not that big a deal, actually. They're very easy to trim. I use gloves when trimming those cactuses just because I don't like to get those little hairs in my skin. Those of you who trim cactuses with little hairs probably know this trick already, but I'll just put it out into the universe so everybody hears it. Scotch tape, duct tape, if you get those hairs in your hand, you know, I would say stick the duct tape on that area and then use it to pull out, kind of rip it off and pull out the little spines. To me, that's about the only thing that really works, other than just, it's going to be itchy now for a few days. All right, boys say, very great information and tip. Oh, thank you. Balancing like a scale makes perfect sense. Just natural science. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's just weight. Ultimately, it's just physics. I mean, all of this stuff. And there's really, you know, not that much, I claim a lot on this channel, there's not that much we really need to do other than get out of the way of this stuff. But when we start manipulating the growth pattern, yeah, then we're kind of in the deal with it. But, you know, interesting thing is, the biggest Nepalis pad cactus that I tree formed in my front yard, it was near my front door, snapped over during one of the tropical storms or whatever that brushed us. And I took the cuttings that snapped off and I planted them in different places, and now I have actually, you know, already the tree formed part of it, which snapped off, grew great roots off the bottom and is growing fantastic over on the side of my house. So it really was no negative. Since we're talking about tree forming, one of my favorites, you'll know if you watch the channel. By the way, give it a thumbs up, this video, if you like it, and subscribe if you're new, don't forget. We do this all the time. By the way, I also have a original music channel called Jedi Jingle Maker, if you're in for checking out the original music I make. I play guitar, keyboard, sing, that kind of thing. And that would be a great place to give a sub as well. I would appreciate that greatly if you go check out Jedi Jingle Maker. But we talk about Dracaena a lot on Eat Your Backyard, and that's because it's such a functional plant for Florida permaculture, in my opinion. It really will take the salt spray. If you're in a salty area like I am on the coast, it will take the salt spray. It will grow through most adversity. Doesn't like freezing, but once it's established, it'll take a little bit of a smack from the freeze. But this is just a type of Dracaena that I've had so much success from. Every bit of this Dracaena was grown from a cutting, an original alpha cutting I got from a friend, and it's just been growing and growing. But this one is beautiful, tree-formed Dracaena, small tree. You can see I've kept up on it over the years, and I was recently going to want to top it, but the problem is that a bird has built a nest up in the upper part of this thing. I don't know if we can see it. It's getting kind of dark. I don't want to have the dark night live stream too much here, but there's a bird's nest up there, and I don't want to disturb that. Let the birds do their thing, fly the nest. But the tree forming has paid off in this little corner, because really what I wanted to do was have just some additional shade in this spot. Now, the Dracaena behind it on the fence, I've used as a shrub. So it's a good example of what I was talking about, just with a different plant. These Dracaena on the fence have produced a tremendous wall of protection against the salt breeze during the east blows that we get here all the time. All the time. And I've got just a tremendous amount of mango sprouts growing around right now. This is mostly from Tommy Atkins mangoes. See this? That's a mango sprout. That's a mango sprout. That's a mango sprout. And there's one too. And we could keep going, there are others, but my point is, yeah, mangoes grow very easily from a seed. Of course, there's a lot of things I could tell you about growing mangoes from seeds, but there are two types of mango seeds. One is a monocot, one is a different kind, which grows multiple plants from a seed. My point is, if you're going to grow a mango from a seed, grow it for rootstock and then graft on some good variety. I have several varieties in my yard that I would choose from. Probably the Tommy Atkins here would be one of them. This is my #1 pick for a mango, first mango. Hello, Binol. Thank you for jumping on the stream. Yeah, the Tommy Atkins is just the all-time producer. Even though the fruit isn't, incredible, it's very good. And I love it for dehydrating, which is my primary way of, what do you do with 100 mangoes? Ask yourself that question before you commit to the Tommy Atkins mango, because it will produce a lot of mangoes, and it's fairly impervious to pests, and it doesn't really require that much fertilizer. Some other varieties can be problematic. I mean, let's just be honest, not all mangoes are created equal. I made a short that was called Mango Multiplication, which basically showed that these 3 mango trees you're seeing here have now been multiplied. I've got on the left, that's the Tommy Atkins. Behind it in the foreground, you'll see the Hayden, which is a championship king of mangoes type tree. And then this is our wonderful Edward mango, which has never produced a fruit, but it's produced fruit that have gotten to almost a golf ball size and then fallen off with wind events. So we have a sentimental attachment to it, despite its lack of productivity. And then we've got 3 others. This is the multiplication. ×2 was the multiplication we did of mangoes this year. One there to the left, this one right here, and then this one. Kesser, Malika, and Fairchild are the 3 that we added to the yard. Rather difficult to find decent mango trees. Most of the mango trees that I found were in poor shape. But I got 3 good ones here. Now, these don't actually look that fantastic the way they are right now. And that's because they're getting still sprayed with salty irrigation water, which the mangoes do not like. They get this burnt black end tip. I wouldn't get too alarmed by that. If you're feeding them the bunny manure like I am, they're going to grow through it. They dropped all their original leaves since I planted them and have grown all new leaves, which are now suited to growing in this environment. And you know, growing in Florida is not easy. It's not easy, meaning you're gonna have to get to know it. And you know, this is a situation where this thing's being drenched by irrigation water, and it's doing that to the leaves. So, you know, I could turn off the irrigation, but the alternative is not rosy. I'm gonna be out here with a hose too much. So I let it take the hit, but I know I can grow through it, is the point. And a lot of plants, when I plant them in the backyard, they just kind of go through this suffering period before they become strong enough to exist in this environment. This Monstera deliciosa, are you familiar with the Monstera deliciosa? It is also going through this same process. Oh, the mosquitoes are just starting to decimate my ankles. Yeah, so same process. The original leaves that were on this thing are done. They are absolutely crispified. Look at this. This is the original leaf from the one that was in the... I got this at Walmart. I got these at Walmart, believe it or not. Okay, so those, which were the original hothouse leaves that came with this thing, are cooked. However, the new leaves, this is like the leaf you see on every, you know, classic Hawaiian surf shorts. This would be the white pattern, and then the back of the shorts would be red or navy blue. But these are doing fantastic because these are adapted to growing in the yard. This plant will actually handle the salt water okay, not great, but okay. It won't do that to it perpetually. So yeah, now one thing I could do would be to trim off all those leaves. And that would be a mistake. That would be a mistake. That's like cutting off the lungs of your plant. Really, it's a good idea, especially when it's trying to get established. You can see even this other one that jumped up, new growth, is doing well. We'll just leave this, let it get as much energy as it can from those dilapidated leaves, and see what happens. Here's another example of that. This is the false bird of paradise. It's like almost like a running you know, tropical flower. Pretty cool looking, but same thing. Just got absolutely cooked by the irrigation and everything, the original growth, and now it'll come back. So patience. Nature has patience, so should you. And thank you. You like the natural edging. I appreciate that. That was part of a larger approach towards permaculture to add some, you know, the nutrients back to the yard. This is all ecosystem for bugs and everything else that flourish back here now, including worms. One of the things I like to do is just make sure that you're putting wood in contact with the ground. If you're doing that and you're piling up, it's going to get consumed. You're not going to find many places around here that aren't just sand, and that's because anything, meaning around this general environment that I live in, that isn't just either sand, well, yeah, it's all sand. My point is anything organic you put on the sand gets eaten. Now, it's not eaten as easily if it's dry conditions, but once it's wet, then yeah, it'll definitely feed everything that's waiting down there to consume it. The worms are voracious here when there's something organic for them to get to, because there's so little for them to get to. We've got tremendous amount of worms now naturally in my backyard, which is super cool. These compost bins are never getting full. And I think that I have a theory that it's just getting from the bottom up always. I don't know that I could ever totally top it off unless I really stuffed it perpetually, but every time I stuff it, it just compresses down. And it's been a year and a half now stuffing these things. Now, I'm not done with the edging yet. It's still in progress though, by the way. The oak edging, spider web to the face. Yeah, I'm not done with doing the cuts I need to do, but one of the things I'm going to do when I get them all placed in the right spot, I am going to bring out the drill and some longer outdoor screws and try to attach them to each other with cuts that kind of meet up a little bit so that it looks a little bit more neat, but also so that holds its structure a little bit better and is all one thing. My wife actually asked me, what's going to happen during the hurricane? Are these all going to lift up and slam in the house? And that's an idea, but no, I don't think they are, because if you look at this branch right here, that's a 200-pounder, easily. I mean, they're just so heavy. It's like rock, is my point. Oak is so dense, it's just unbelievable. Now, we only have one spot left on the vertical pineapple planter. I would recommend everybody listening to my voice right now acquire a vertical pineapple planting capability. You might not buy this thing. This thing was too expensive. It was like, embarrassed to say it, was like 60 bucks or something, 70 bucks, probably more now. But yeah, it was a little too expensive. I didn't like the price of it, but I think you could manufacture something. I was almost thinking like, well, some ideas of how to do something like this, but without having to pay so much. But to me, this is the way to grow pineapples. You've got to have 15 chances to win. In this case, 20 chances to win. That is my most recent pineapple that went in the dehydrator. And some of the older pineapples are really now starting to show what they can do, which is these very long, when you see these very long, kind of more dense growth type pineapple growing habits, you know you're on the road to getting pineapples at some point. When they kind of just peter out and do this kind of thing, which this one's even coming back, but it had just lallygagged for years, gone dormant for like 5 years, done nothing, no fruit. Here's another one like that I kind of rescued. I'm hoping maybe it'll come back, but it might be just too damaged to even work, right? And I might just put new ones in, but look at that. That's what you want. Nice, thick, dense growth. Lots of pineapple plants, because you eat only 1, maybe 2 pineapples per plant. That's what you could expect from these, so you have to grow many if you want to get any kind of satisfaction out of this thing, in my opinion. But that's been working out really, really well. And look at what we have growing out of the final spot. This, and I'm going to show you what I've got to replace this. That's carrot. Now, we don't pick the carrot because we're not really interested in the carrot. Ultimately, we'll be interested in the carrot, but what we're interested in is the greens. Everything loves greens. Now, the chickens are cooped for the evening. Jack cooped them up. They don't mind being cooped up a little early, to be quite honest. Oops, sorry about that. All right, it's getting a little dark. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna turn on the lights to the bunny run, and we're gonna feed the bunnies some of this delicious carrot greens. Man, it smells so good. Love carrot greens. All right, let's get the bunny run powered on for a special Friday evening live stream. Okay, we have light. Hey, Munzos. All right. You have food, you have water, you have had lots of exercise. Now you're getting, and you have a cool light show above your cage. Now you're getting some greens. Hey, Penelope. How you doing, sweetie? You like that? I'm going to leave a couple in there for her, and a couple in for Thumper for an evening snack. I think I might have dropped one of them. No, Thumps, you only get one. Sorry, kid. Life's tough. But enjoy your carrot green. It's a lot better than the carrot green you didn't have 10 seconds ago. All right. There you go. Rabbits got their late night treat. All right, it is getting rather dark. And I do believe the mosquitoes have taken their required pint of blood from my ankles this evening. All right, well, another beautiful evening. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. I'm going to stream on Sunday morning, the Sunday morning coffee chat. I might actually do that one from my Eat Your Backyard studio. I'm thinking of maybe doing a live song creation stream. I was a bit on other streaming platforms and thought, hey, that would be fun to do. Maybe I'll make a song. Who knows? Who knows? Sunday mornings we typically live stream, and I hope I see you there. It's always fun. Thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard. I hope you'll leave a comment, and I hope we'll see you back on Sunday. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening. Go out and do something great.